Hi, my name is Todd Leonard.
And my name is Herb Montgomery, and we're just talking.
Thank you for, I don't know that it matters at this point, but since we ask every week, we'll ask you for this last week. Please click the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon so you can stay connected with our broadcast that's not going to be happening after this week.
Yeah, I don't know that you need to subscribe because this is the final episode. But we're not going to. You don't want me notified. You can subscribe all you want to. You just won't be notified. But yeah, let me just say too, thank you so much, all of you, for watching this show, for all your comments, for all your support. We're gonna leave it up on YouTube, and hopefully, it'll continue to do good out there in the world.
Yeah. But what was our mission? Why did we do this,
Oh
Herb?
yeah, yeah. So I forgot. If you're new to this channel, each week Todd and I take a moment to talk about the upcoming weekend's lectionary reading from the Gospels. And our goal is to talk about those readings in the context of love and inclusion and social justice. And our hope is that our talking will be just talking, as in justice, but that also something will be said during this brief conversation that would inspire you along with us to do more than just talking. That is the last time I will ever say that.
I know. Brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it?
It does. Chokes me up a bit.
Yeah, I know. I know. It was well crafted. It communicated well, and I think people understood what we were doing because you put that together so well. So I know it's sad that we
Just
can't
trying to
say it
keep up
anymore.
with you, Todd. Just trying to keep up with you.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I'll keep trying.
thank,
I'll keep.
thanks. Um,
So, what passage are we looking at this week?
we are still hanging in Luke 12 for the third week in a row. We
Can
are
I just
in.
say I'm thankful that our last episode is in the synoptics and we didn't have to end on John?
Oh, thank goodness we didn't have to do a John passage for
Can
this
you
week.
imagine?
Oh, that would just be so demoralizing.
and we're ending on what is a great passage in
Yeah,
Luke.
kind of a fiery passage, kind of a
So it's
Jesus prophetic Jesus passage.
That's right. That's right. Did you mention the verse already?
It's oh, I didn't mention the verses. It's chapter 12 verses 49 to 56.
So this is the passage where Jesus says, "I came to bring fire to the earth, and how I wish it were already kindled. I have baptism with which to be baptized, and what stress I am under until it is completed. Do you think that I have come to bring peace to the earth? No, I tell you, rather division. From now on, five in one household will be divided, three against two, and two against three, and they will be divided. Father against son, son against father, mother against daughter, daughter against mother, mother in law against her daughter in law, daughter in law against her mother in law." I kind of chuckled when I read that first time. That's not very hard.
that's,
And
that's
then,
that's not new ground, Jesus. That's already been taken place.
yeah, right, right. Low hanging fruit, Jesus, low hanging fruit.
Mother-in-law is what?
Uh, and then he talks about being able to predict the weather, but not being able to tell the times in which we live. So, you got any history with this passage or anything? Jesus being pro division.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't have a lot of history with this passage because what are you supposed to say about this when Jesus is your best friend and Jesus is here to love everybody? Um, this doesn't fit the warm fuzzy Jesus. So you don't preach on this because it doesn't fit.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't. It's not what people want to hear. I actually get a lot of comfort from this passage because unintentionally throughout my years at my different stages of ministry, and I never tried this. This was not intentional. I want to stress this. This was always unintentional. I was just sincerely trying to always share some new discovery that I had, stumbled upon. It was new to me. Other people had already, discovered the stuff, but it's new discoveries for me. And I'm just trying to share that out of the joy of what I found. And so many times I naively discovered that what I was sharing was so divisive. Like it was so
Hmm.
polarizing for people. And I
Yeah.
grew up in a faith tradition that prioritized unity and
Hmm.
peace and not rocking the boat, all of us getting along,
Well,
and so
because everything important had already been figured out. There was nothing, there was the way that the faith traditions that you and I grew up in and developed as people, uh, everything was already figured out. So for you to say something that you thought
contradicted maybe some of
enhanced,
that. Yeah.
maybe contradicted it, or was a new take at least on something that, or just something that hadn't been emphasized. Yeah, I mean, you did it from a place of, hey, I want to help my faith tradition grapple with this too.
I
It
never had
wasn't
ill intent.
it wasn't, hey, I'm here to be a maverick
Right.
heretic to
Right.
get everybody upset.
I
But
seem to have spent more time than not being a lightning rod for
mm,
controversy and division.
mm,
And that's never been my intent. But I mean, for crying out loud, telling the church God loves gay people. You know what I mean?
right,
That's great news, especially
it
for
is
those,
great news.
you know what I mean? Or speaking about the egalitarianism of races or
Yes.
genders and those types of things. And the passages in scripture that teach that, I know there are passages that teach the opposite, but the
Mm-hmm.
passages that teach that, when you share those with people and you're giving certain people hope, there always seems to be other people that are threatened by that and they just get
Mm-hmm.
all worked up.
Yep. Yep. I
Justice is not a unifying topic when people are being benefited by injustice.
right. That's right.
So I feel like, man, Jesus, thank you so much for saying you came not to bring peace, but division. And while I believe the metaphor that I used on my blog this week is while I believe that peace is the eventual ultimate result, byproduct
Mm-hmm.
of justice,
Mm-hmm.
um, the soil, the hard packed soil of injustice has to be tilled up before those seeds can be planted
Yeah.
that'll produce the justice that'll produce the peace.
Right. That's a great metaphor.
I
That
mean,
is so true.
I, this passage this week also caused me to go back and take a look at Dr. King's letter from a Birmingham jail where he talks about a negative peace.
Mm.
And I think that's what Jesus is speaking against in this passage, this where we prioritize peace and unity over justice and the well-being of everyone.
Mm-hmm. Because it's not real, and it's because it's really not unity. It's a faux. It's a faux uniformity based
Mm,
upon
mm,
certain values. It doesn't include everybody. It
that's
doesn't.
right.
It doesn't. It's not. It's so it's. It can't by definition be unity. It is. It is a unifying uniformity among a certain segment of the population, and and that is what he is speaking. That's a negative. That's a
Hmm.
negative piece.
He talks about being the word that he used that I loved was let me find nonviolent gadflies.
Mm,
Nonviolent gadflies, where we're out there, yes, nonviolent, but we're creating conflict, we're creating tension,
mm.
we're speaking out against injustice.
Yeah,
We're rocking the
nonviolent
boat.
doesn't mean confrontational. It just means confrontational in nonviolent ways.
Correct. Correct. And so, yeah, this week's just been really encouraging to me, coming from a tradition that so prioritized never rocking the boat.
Mm,
To see Jesus saying, you know what? I came to start a fire
mm.
and it's not going to be peaceful. It's going to cause division.
Yeah. I think this is so dead on accurate as far as just reflecting how dangerous Jesus was to
Mm-hmm.
the establishment based on, I mean, this again is treacherous, treasonous stuff. What he's saying, he is saying he's here for not a violent fight, but he's here
Mm-hmm. It
to
is a fight.
challenge and to
Mm-hmm.
fight against what exists, and it has to be changed. And it's not going to be pretty, and it's not going to be everybody singing around, singing on a mountainside, drinking a bottle of Coke. It's going to be it's going to be hard, and good people who have sat with the status quo are not going to be happy with where things go. Um, and I think this is, for me, I posted about this on my Facebook page this week, that this preaching, and this is what you have done, Herb, and this is what I ended up doing the last few years of my ministry, is preaching from the Gospels about this prophetic Jesus. It doesn't go over well
Mm-hmm.
with a significant segment of people.
With institutionalized Christianity, it
I did
doesn't.
not I did not grow churches with this message of Jesus. It was because church is not designed for, and American society is not designed for this type of message. It is designed for individual success, individual salvation, personal sin management. It is not about transforming society. It is not about a better world for everybody. That is not the what drives institutional Christianity, or the American society really as a whole, which is so grounded in
Mm-hmm.
a Protestant Christianity.
I'm still stuck on. I had to even look it up. The 1971. I can't believe you referenced everyone on a mountainside drinking a bottle of Coke.
Yeah,
1971. I'd like to teach
that's
the
even
world
before I
to
was
sing in
born.
perfect harmony. Yeah, but don't you remember that in the 80s? Wasn't there a surge of that commercial in
They
the
brought it
80s?
back. Yeah, they
Yeah.
did. That's where I got it. Yeah,
I
and
can't. Yeah, man. Flashback to the 80s. Well done, Todd.
thank you, thank you.
Everybody's
That's,
still on the mountainside drinking a Coke.
yeah.
Ah, I love
As a
it.
Dr. Pepper person, I would say that Coke message was faux unity.
Yeah, it was divisive.
It was divisive. It was not. It was not for everybody.
But what if you like Pepsi?
So don't even go there.
No, so this week's passage, it really does zero in on, and I don't think we should try to intentionally cause conflict. It's
Right.
that that's not our goal. Our goal is not to create division. Our goal is justice. But
Right.
when that work for justice causes division or it breaks up that unity, it's in those moments that we need to remember that disunity or tension or conflict or whatever it is that that call for unity creates, that is not necessarily an indicator that the call for justice was wrong.
Right.
It
Right.
doesn't disqualify the work of justice just because it temporarily causes something other than peace.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's, when there's a famous editorial cartoon when King was alive, and in the height of the movement, where um, where the editorialist was speaking against King, and he had King say, "I'm leading a peaceful movement," and behind King, the city is burning.
Mm,
And the editorialist is saying, is his point was, King is not leading a movement of peace.
mhm.
And what we're reading here is, I he is leading a movement towards peace, but that work in the short term can be extremely divisive.
It's the difference in the Sermon on the Mount. In Matthew 5:9, Jesus says, "Blessed are the peace makers,
Yes,
not peace keepers."
keepers. That's
You know
right.
what I mean? Peacekeepers are don't challenge the status quo. Don't don't call for change. Just keep
Mm-hmm.
the peace. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Peacemakers see peace as the ultimate fruit of the work of justice.
Right.
Peacemakers are really primarily focused on justice. And in the meantime, I mean, Jesus said it. I came to bring fire to the earth. You were talking about, behind King, the image of the city burning. There's
Mm-hmm.
that imagery. That it
Mm-hmm.
can be fiery. It can be divisive. It can
Mm-hmm.
create conflict and division and
It
and and,
can.
and turmoil. Um, but that again, that is not a disqualifier of the
Right.
work. Yeah, the goal is peace. He is the Prince of Peace, right?
Right.
But here's the
Right.
Prince of Peace coming to bring fire and not initial
Mm.
peace, but liberation and justice in the hopes
Mm.
that peace will now be born out of that fruit. And that's
Mm.
really, I mean, that's what John Paul, Pope John Paul II, didn't he? Isn't that what, he who seeks for peace should work for justice.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's the
Yep.
Hebrew prophets where everybody sits under their own fig tree.
Yes. Yeah, that's great imagery. That right there. Yeah, that is so that's the thing is when he's talking about peace versus division, it's the question is, what is he actually working for? And he is working for justice. And so when you're driven by that conscientious choice and that deeply loving choice
Mm-hmm.
to do the work of justice, then uh, you by definition will run afoul of those who either don't care or who are vested in not seeing justice accomplished.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Frederick Douglass said that power never concedes anything without a demand,
Hmm.
but that demand is not keeping the peace.
No, it's not.
That demand does not.
By
It's
definition.
yeah, it's not by definition. That demand it creates conflict and some tension. But
Yep.
again, um, power is never going to relinquish injustice without that.
Hmm.
It's part of it. You
Yeah.
can't have. It's really. I mean, I wish we had different words for it because we're really talking about two different kinds of peace. A peace that is the absence of conflict, and a peace that is the presence of justice.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, and you have
Jesus
to
wasn't afraid of
constantly
conflict.
right, and you have to make that distinction because the you can get words meaning all sorts of different things, so you have to make that distinction. It's peace brought by justice. Um, that's how it
Yeah.
works, and it's interesting how he wraps up this section and he talks about he kind of harkens a bit to eschatology,
Mm-hmm.
um, and actually says, these things that you're seeing right now, this is the prophets talked about this type of stuff coming back again. This is this is
You can
this
predict the weather, but you can't see what's happening right around you right now.
right, but this is something is stirring. It's stirring because it's got you all revved up about it. And he says, pay attention. This is this is actually part of God's eschatological movement with his
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
If you are ready to, if you are looking to be part of God's movement, wake up and smell the coffee.
Yeah, yeah. It's like that kind of cloud creates rain. That kind of wind creates scorching heat. You can see the
Hmm.
cause and effect there, but you're you're labeling my work as being a negative and as
Hmm.
being something to be shunned or removed or to be obstructed. Um,
Hmm.
you know, Jesus is yeah. I just love this whole passage. Jesus is saying, you can predict the weather, but you can't even tell what's going on right in front of you. You cannot
Yeah.
identify correctly what is good and what is bad.
Hmm.
The peace that leaves the status quo untouched, unchanged, unchallenged is the negative piece. It's the bad. The
Hmm.
kind of conflict that stirs up the status quo that moves us toward even one step closer to justice, even though it's tension and conflict. That's good. And they couldn't see
Right.
that.
Right. And I think that that speaks to all people of faith today who um, who continue to fantasize or hypothesize about um, some eschatological movement that involves the UN or involves the nation of Israel or involves uh, some other
Yeah.
conspiracy of religious political entities who continue to keep saying it's going to look like this, it's going to look like this. I can map it out by twisting passages from Revelation and Daniel and things like that, um, and and they don't recognize in the very moment the very things that Christ was speaking about is actually happening right now as we speak, and that he was speaking against, the mistreatment of immigrants, the mistreatment of the poor, the mistreatment of marginalized people. This is the weather we're supposed to be paying attention to. This is
Mm.
exactly what Jesus was talking about. He didn't talk about these other conspiracies. He was addressing this mistreatment of people right in our midst right now by corrupt empire and passive citizenry.
Yeah, they were accusing Jesus of working under the power of Beelzebul when he
Mm,
was actually a conduit of that liberating spirit in Isaiah that preaches good news to the poor and liberation for the oppressed and to set the people
mm,
free. It reminds me today of when we, in that same spirit, speak about, and again, to bring it up, maybe the egalitarianism of gender. I'm thinking
mm,
of faith traditions that still don't ordain women
mm,
alongside of men as pastors. And when you bring that up, um, you're you're seen as the evil. It's calling the good. It's calling the
mm,
spirit, calling
mm,
that evil. It's defining.
mm,
You're missing the liberation work. Or when we talk about the affirmation, the inclusion, and the celebration of people who belong to the LGBTQ community, how
right.
Christians right now see that as there are certain
Divisive,
Christians out there see that as divisive or see that as or an
harmful.
evil or yes
Yep.
harmful or heresy or the
Yep.
work of, to put it in their language, the work of the devil, to
Right.
be affirming our siblings that belong to that community when actually that's the liberating spirit of the
Yes.
gospels for marginalized communities. We speak
Yes.
out against white supremacy or white Christian nationalism. This is the same exact principle. and
Yep.
and people will look at that and not be able to. There are Christians out there that will view your speaking out for justice as being of the wrong spirit of
Mm-hmm.
their devil, right?
Mm-hmm.
When
Mm-hmm.
all along it's the very work of Jesus that they're failing to identify.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, again, this passage is so packed with good stuff. The weather passage, the conflict passage. I even thought of John Lewis's statement. Bless his heart, the late Representative
Mm-hmm.
John Lewis. In 2018, he tweeted, do not get lost in a sea of despair. Be hopeful Be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It is the struggle of a lifetime. Never, ever be afraid. And this is where it ties into this week, to make some noise and get in good trouble,
Mm.
necessary trouble.
Mm. I love
Never
that.
ever be afraid to cause good, get into some good trouble.
I love it.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
when I was in Glendale, California, living there, I had a relationship with a Catholic deacon, and he said, "Todd, you haven't lived until you've been arrested." He said, and this is this white hair, bald, yeah, 75-year-old Catholic deacon, and he had like 5 years earlier had protested for housekeepers' rights in the hotel industry, and
Mm-hmm.
he got arrested because he was stirring up good trouble for people who were not making anywhere near a livable wage, and he said you got to get arrested at least once in your life for
Ironically,
again in this context, not for the
mm-hmm.
sake of getting arrested,
Right.
but
Right.
that you've stood up for something so important and for the cause of justice that it forces the system to shut you down.
I'm thinking of a dear friend as you're telling me that story. I'm thinking of a dear friend of mine here locally who runs a ministry that serves the families of those who come to visit um, people in our women's prison here locally, and
Mm,
they provide housing and food. If you're picking up some of that background noise, the rain is pouring right now, so I
mm,
apologize. But he's also Catholic, and he has Catholic background, and he's has a long history in activism. And on his leg, he has the word peace. Ironically, what we're talking about this week
mm,
is the word peace tattooed on his calf in
mm.
in different languages, a different language for every time he's been arrested for doing justice work, which is the irony of it. It's the word peace, but it's different languages for every time he's been arrested for doing
Wow,
justice activism.
that's great. That is very cool.
And his calf is full. Yeah, I should add
Yeah,
that
I
part.
bet.
Not just one or two. It's
I was
full.
gonna say maybe he's got to start looking at the other calf.
Yeah,
So
the
that's
gold
awesome.
one.
Oh, well done.
All right, man.
Uh,
Well, you got anything else this week, Todd?
I don't really, I just don't want to really wrap it up. I'm not ready to
I
close
know.
this chapter. But this has been good, rich material. I appreciate what you brought with it, and yeah,
Let me
I
just
think
publicly say, too, as you're saying that, just how thankful I am. Thank you, Todd, for doing this show with me. It's been a real privilege to do this for the last 2.5, almost 3 years. We almost made it through the lectionary.
almost.
It's been really good, Todd. So thank you. This was actually your idea in the beginning. And so,
Yeah, I guess that's true. It was my idea, but I think, but the because it was, but my idea was, I'll just join Herb, who does all this work to study and research and put together these great studies every week. I'll just come on and give commentary, uh, and uh, and I get to bask in the reflected glory of Herb's work, and so it was a easy call for me. It's just I have the deepest of admiration for you, Herb, for who you are, and for your heart and mind together, your heart for justice, and a mind who can take that heart for justice and transform it into profound communication to help the rest of us see what what the work of justice is all about and how that flows out of the ministry of Jesus. And I'm just grateful for that.
Man, I appreciate those kind words. That means a lot. Thank you, Todd.
Tell us once more about, I'll tell you my website one more time is tjlcc.com. And if you're interested in coaching, you can go there. But one more time, tell us about Renewed Heart Ministries.
Well, let me just say, too, since this is our last show, let me give one final plug for your coaching. There have been some dark times in my journey where I have sat across not a counseling couch, but a living room couch
Yeah.
from Todd and sharing with him my deconstruction and reconstruction. And Todd was there during some of those dark times. And if you're out there and you just need someone to help you get through something you're in transition about, hit Todd up. It's well worth it. Well worth it.
Mm. Thanks.
Renewed Heart Ministries is a ministry that is dedicated to helping people encounter the intersection of their faith and whatever area of social justice they're passionate about. All of our resources online are free. We are indebted to our supporters to be able to provide those resources for free to everyone. We believe what the Gospels say when it says, freely you've received, freely give. And so that's what we're endeavoring to do. And I also want to take a moment in that context to thank all of our supporters out there. Thank you so much for supporting Renewed Heart Ministries work. We could not do our work without your generosity and your giving. And if any of you out there would like to join them in supporting Renewed Heart Ministries work, you can do that by going to renewedheartministries.com and clicking donate.
A worthy investment of your philanthropic dollars that really does make a difference for the people who connect with these resources. So I wholeheartedly support that investment. Well, I think the other word of gratitude that needs to be expressed is to thank you to each of you who have joined us
That's right.
these past 3 years. It's nice to know, and it's edifying to us to know that there are kindred spirits out there who share this passion, who share this heart for justice, who don't get scared by this Jesus, but actually fall in love and feel called into this mission. It's been great for us to know you're out there and to see your comments and to see your presence with us. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So,
All right.
all right. I guess this is
Well,
it.
yeah, I can't say tune in next week for another thought provoking discussion. All I can say is follow renewedheartministries.com and see what happens next.
It'll be worth it. And
All right.
yeah, I mean, it's not like there's nothing out there. Let's just be clear about that. There's Herb's weekly blog and his weekly podcast. That's still there. That's
That's
continuing.
right. That's not going anywhere.
That's not going anywhere. So make sure you're taking advantage of that, and you continue to get good, fresh, stimulating material for your walk with Christ.
Thanks,
So,
Todd. All right, everyone. It's been a good run. Thanks for watching.
see y'all.